Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents Scents. Hope that you're doing well. We are moving out of winter, and with that, I wanted one last hurrah of some powerful fragrances, some long-lasting fragrances. So I figured, let me go ahead and gather up 10 long-lasting fragrances that are big compliment pullers that women love. You know, some people probably would not love all of them. No, I'm just playing, they love them all. But yeah, warm, sweet fragrances that are long-lasting compliment pullers. I got 10 of them here for you today so that we can go over those nice, deep, rich fragrances one last time before it starts to get a little bit too hot in the Northern Hemisphere to actually be able to pull them off. All of these are gonna be linked down below me. Yeah, never mind. In the description. We're gonna start with this, YSL Y Le Parfum. And why Y Le Parfum? I'll tell you why, because Y Le Parfum is now going away and being replaced by Y Le Parfum 2025. So if there's one last chance to go ahead and talk about this little beauty, I'll take it. Because when that time comes that this one is no longer readily available at discounters, the price is gonna go up. Don't know how long that'll take, but eventually it will happen. Because like I said, it's being replaced by Y Le Parfum 2025. Pretty easy to tell the difference between the two, so you'll never get confused. This one is the all blacked out bottle. The new one looks like this right here. So yeah, pretty easy to tell which is which. But Y Le Parfum, much like Y Eau de Parfum, is a fragrance that has great performance, that is just fantastic at being a mass appealing, people-pleasing, compliment pulling type of scent profile. It's not quite as sweet as Y Eau de Parfum, but it still has a good amount of sweetness. This one is a little bit classier, a little bit more buttoned up, you could say, but it still has that solid sweet kick to it with apple in here off the top, bit of ginger, which gives it a touch of fresh spiciness when it first opens. Then as it dries down, lavender, sage, tonka, and some woody notes come out as well. And even though this fragrance is going into a list with a whole lot of fragrances that are definitely more fall and winter centric, this one I think you can pull off year round, especially if we're talking about as an evening fragrance. So Y Le Parfum, starting us off strong. I'm sorry, buddy, what they did to you. Discontinued, replaced, and they didn't even let you keep your name. That's just, it's rough. Pretending like you never even existed. I'm sorry, buddy. From there, let's move on to Bulgari's Man in Black. Now, I thought about putting in Bulgari Man in Black Parfum for a couple seconds there, but decided against it, because while Bulgari Man in Black Parfum does have decent staying power in terms of being decently long lasting, this one is stronger, it lasts longer, and it projects much further. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about fragrances that are long lasting, does it make sense to put in one that's, you know, decently long lasting, but kind of lacking on projection, or put in one that's long lasting and strong? Yeah. And also to my own taste, I actually like Man in Black, the original Eau de Parfum, more than the Parfum Edition. The Parfum Edition is a little bit more mature, but I think as far as just the overall scent profile, this one's a little bit nicer. So what does it have going on? Well, it has leather, rum, spices, tobacco, tonka, gaiac wood, and even a little touch of iris. So basically, about everything that makes a fragrance good, this has some of it. It's a little bit similar to the original Spice Bomb in terms of how it comes across, which is actually another fragrance that does really well at pulling positive attention. But I find myself gravitating more often towards this one in terms of the comparison between this and the original Spice Bomb. A little bit of extra like boozy sweetness that it has just really helps set the fragrance apart. And even though it's been around for a little while, this stuff still rips. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the newer one up next, Bad Boy Elixir from Carolina Herrera. And Bad Boy Elixir is surprisingly really good. Yeah, I know, it's an elixir, it's a bad boy, two things that often get hated on. Yeah, Bad Boy Elixir is actually really good. And as far as the bad boy fragrances that are not named Cobalt, because those are kind of like their own thing, this is probably the best one, at least to my taste. Now, when this one was first announced, the note breakdown was extremely boring. It did not have a whole heck of a lot going for it. It looked like, honestly, kind of a throwaway scent. Sage, leather, and cedar. That's all it said. Yeah, just that. Which you can't get too much more boring than, honestly. But then you smell it, and it's like, woo, there's a little more going on there. You get that chocolate, that cacao note that comes through. It's gonna tie it in with the original Bad Boy and also Bad Boy Extreme to an extent, but it's much smoother. The quality is higher. There's a little touch of lavender in there, some citrus, like a little faint hint off the top, giving you a touch of freshness. Really super appealing. Like this is a perfect night fragrance, evening fragrance, date fragrance. And it really smells like the pinnacle of that Bad Boy DNA, just made better, just all the way around. And the performance, very good as well. So if you like Bad Boy Extreme, gotta check this one out because like I said, to me, that's the best one. Okay, let's go next with, let's go with Eros. This is Eros Parfum. Really, really dig Eros Parfum. I think from the Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, and Parfum, I would take this one if I could choose just one for myself. So you have some of the fresh aspects from Eros in here. You got mint, you have lemon off the top, and then as it dries down, more of that warmth, more of that sweetness comes out. Tonka, amber, vanilla, a little touch of patchouli. Of course, you've also got apple in here. You've got geranium, you've got lavender. There's a lot going on. Really smooth, fantastic projection, just like the other Eros fragrances. Big compliment puller, daytime or evening scent. Frankly, an all year fragrance once again. Kind of like Why Le Parfum over here. If it's during the high heat months, maybe don't wear it during the day as much, or if you do, dial down those sprays. But during the evening, lights out. Eros Parfum, really, really, really good stuff. And from there, let's hop over to this Amen Phantasm. Gotta show a little love to Mugler for bringing back the Amen line, because I don't want them to forget that this exists and then not make a new one. We need to get those Amen flankers coming in annually again, because that was a good time. Maybe I'm being a little bit nostalgic, a little bit of like rose-tinted goggles going on here. But back in the day, it was exciting. Every year, you get yourself a new Amen flanker. Sure, some of them weren't the hottest thing on earth, but some of them were just absolutely amazing. And I got a feeling that if they keep putting these out, they're gonna strike gold eventually. Sometimes you gotta dig through a little crap to get to the gold, but that just makes the gold better after you wash the crap off. This one's not crap though, this is solid. This one smells similar to Pure Tonka a little bit, which Pure Tonka was one of the better releases back in the day. It wasn't on that tier of like Pure Havana, Pure Malt, but it was like just the tier under it. Go ahead and give that, a couple sprays. Yeah, the atomizer still sucks. That was always the thing with these Amen fragrances. Everybody hated the atomizer. I love that they kept true to that. It just brings joy to my heart. After all this time, they were like, we could redesign this. We could make it better. We could change the things that we wronged in the past. And then they thought to themselves, hell with that. Just put it out, man. This is garbage. Nice. Fragrance though, really pleasant, nice sweetness to it, a little different aspect than most other fragrances that are out nowadays. That's because it makes use of patchouli in a way that's a little bit more prominent. A lot of fragrances use patchouli, but not a lot of fragrances use patchouli. By that, I'm not saying they use fake patchouli. I'm saying they don't move it to the front. They kind of keep it lurking in the back. A little bit of serial killer, horror movie action, patchouli lurking in the background. You can just see it over your shoulder a little bit there. It's kind of like blurred out, like in the movie. It's just, there's nothing there. Yeah, that was patchouli. He's coming up on you. With this one, they take that patchouli, they move it to the front. They let you see it and smell it. Has a nice chocolatey aspect to it. Like I said, a little bit similar to Pure Tonka, and I'm excited for things to come. Now I'll tell you, at full retail, you don't really need much of a discount for Amen Phantasm. Full retail for that, $90. And that's for the full-size bottle. That's not for the small bottle. A 50 ml bottle of that, $60. Look, I'm not trying to say $60 is nothing. But in the world of fragrances and retail prices of fragrances, $60 for a 50 ml size bottle of a known name brand, that's about as cheap as it gets. But for some of these other fragrances, you may want a code to save some money. And luckily, I have some codes. You can use any of these codes to save yourself some money across different websites, but do be aware the JOMASHOP codes only work within the app. A catch. All the other ones you can use normally through their websites, but there you go. There are some codes to save yourself some money. Let's move to the next fragrance, and it shall be this one, the most wanted. From Dolce & Gazzaro. It's Cesaro. There are no Dolce & Gabbana fragrances in this list today. Maybe some of the one fragrances would have worked well. Maybe if they would have come out with a new one. An idea, Dolce & Gabbana, but they say no, I guess. But that's okay, because we have this. Cardamom, toffee, and amberwood. There's your note breakdown. Very simple, not complex. The fragrance itself, though, oof. It don't matter. It could have 0 notes and people would still go crazy for this. It gets compared to Stronger With You Intensely, which is another fragrance that would work very well for this list. But to my own taste, if I were gonna take just one between Stronger With You Intensely and The Most Wanted, I would take The Most Wanted at this point. They both are very sweet scents, both have great performance, but this one just feels like it has a little bit more to give, at least for what I like. And again, Stronger With You Intensely is not a bad fragrance, not what I'm saying. And it would work just as well, like I already said, and I'm reiterating right now. But that gourmand, kind of sweet, warm toffee, the way it hits with the cardamom here is just absolutely stunning. And out of everything in today's list, that's gonna be one of the ones right up toward the top if you were gonna look at just one of these for this type of scent. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go Ralph's Club Elixir with the next one. So what is that, the second elixir here? Let's see. This is the last elixir, don't worry. No more elixirs in today's video. I do like that bottle. Like a small child, it entertains me. Whew, that one, way different than everything else that we've talked about so far. Part of that is of course because iris is one of the main notes here, and it's noticeable right as soon as you spray it on. Also, because the way the sweetness hits here is a little bit different than most of these others. Most of these here are more of that warm, sweet kind of scent profile. No, very decadent, rich, deep, that type of thing going on. That type of thing. Can't get words out. This one is sweet. It is long lasting. It does have notes in there like leather that you would expect to have kind of a push to them. Also olibanum, patchouli. So I mean, it's got some of those heavy notes, but the patchouli here is lurking, like we talked about before. You watch out for that. There's also a touch of citrus in here, some cardamom off the top. So it's like this mix of this slightly powdery but sweet iris, aspects of freshness in there, hints of warm spice, kind of fresh spice mix as well. An aromatic essence to it. And then as it dries down, it does get a little bit darker, but it never goes to like some full on, difficult to wear type of direction. So really well done, Ralph's Club Elixir. I wanna talk next about Stronger With You. Talked about it before with Intensely, which is not here, but this one is Stronger With You Parfum, which is something I have been enjoying and something that I've been trying to wear a little bit right as we have these last few cold days. Just now, where'd it go? There's magic. See that? Ooh, pin and teller. Oh, I just dropped it. Just now off the tester strip, when I smelled that immediately, it smelled like barbecue sauce. I like barbecue sauce. Thankfully, that's not how it comes across on my skin, or else I would be like, oh, ooh, ah. And I am at this moment hoping that I never feel like it's smelling that way off my skin, because as soon as I recognize that as smelling like barbecue sauce, if that happens, it is done. Ah, that better not happen. Okay, back under control. So, no breakdown. We have chestnut, of course. There's also vanilla in here, pink pepper, a little bit of citrus and lavender as well. It's a fragrance that at first sniff, as long as it doesn't come across like barbecue sauce, will remind you of possibly every single Stronger With You ever made, which is kind of what happened to me. I smelled it and I thought, great, it's just the same thing. But then when I started to wear it side by side with some of the other big dogs in the lineup, Absolutely, Intensely, etc., I realized, oh, it's not the same thing. It is Stronger With You, and you can definitely tell it's Stronger With You as soon as you smell it, but it's got its own vibe. And as usual with a parfum iteration, all the usual caveats apply to this, where you would say, oh, it's Stronger With You. Oh, but it's a little bit smoother, a little bit deeper, a little bit more bold, a little bit more rich. All that crap? Yeah, that's what it is. Smells really good though. Let's go next with Stronger With the Scent Magnetic. Nailed it. I would like to complain for just one moment here. I'll just borrow your ear for just 1 second here. It's called the Scent Magnetic. There ain't no magnet in this cap. You had one job. One job. We need more magnetic caps. not less. I know that none of the scent fragrances, I just sprayed my hand, have magnetic caps, but if you were ever gonna introduce one, it was this. So they give us a herpty-derpty note breakdown here. We've got Bran, we have vanilla, we have Meninka. You may say to yourself, Bran, why? And I would say, I don't know, bro. But I'll tell you what, the vanilla that's in here, it smells pretty good. And the projection, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. You see the difference? But in terms of how long it lasts, it's pretty good. You see? It is a bit similar to the scent Elixir. I almost said stronger with you again. Get out of my brain. The barbecue is like, ugh. You better not be smelling like BBQ, brother. Okay, moment of truth. It's bothering me. It's kind of there in the background. No. So the scent magnetic. Next up, Scandal Le Parfum. Last up, does not smell like barbecue. I mean, it's going away, but like, it's kind of like how some fragrances, like for example, Million Gold. That one came out, and when I wore it first, I did not get any kind of BO scent profile at all, but my wife was adamant that it smelled kind of like BO. I was like, you're insane. And I wore it a few more times, and then one time I was wearing it, and I caught a whiff of the fragrance, and I was like, oh God, what's going on there? Oh, it's not me. Oh no. Like when you have that happen, when you're wearing a fragrance and you have like an awakening where you're like, oh my God, this smells like body odor, it becomes unwearable. Because as you're going throughout your day and you catch a whiff of it and you catch that body odor and you're like, oh no, oh, it's not me. It's my fragrance. That's almost worse because it's like projecting out and you're just like, is everyone that I pass right now thinking, holy crap, take a shower, dude. You're disgusting. Okay, the barbecue is going away. Whew. Oh, that was close. It's similar to the original Scandal, of course, Scandal Pour Homme, but this one has more of an aromatic touch to it. It's still sweet. It's just not as sweet as the original. The original had caramel as one of the main notes there. This one, tonka, but it still has that caramel-esque feeling to it. Really, really long lasting. Gets overlooked sometimes a little bit by the new one, Absolute, which is super good. So I can see why. And I thought about putting that one in here, but it was like, you gotta show a little more love to Le Parfum. And this is just a fantastic Scandal for evening use in fall and winter. Really long lasting, good date fragrance. And if you really like your sweeter scents, you could wear this to like a more formal type of event and it would work really well. Just don't go crazy heavy. There we go, guys. There's some stuff to bring this cold season to a close. It's good stuff. No barbecue. It's like this little like hint of spicy, almost smokiness that's in here. It's kind of like in the background. It's not necessarily the focal point, but I'll tell you what, when it hits you a certain way, yeah, that spicy, smoky, yeah. And when I say barbecue, I'm talking more like barbecue chips or like barbecue sauce, not like barbecued meat. Man, when that was hitting, oh God, it was, I cannot be going around smelling like barbecue. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me here today. Stay safe out there. Hope you had a great bunch of coldness up here in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, hope you had a good summer. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.